Welcome back to the Hall of Fame. This is the Hall of Fame for my brother's keeper career mode. And if you're new to this and you haven't seen the Hall of Fame for the Reggae Boyz, what are you doing? You're like, go check that out, man. Go check it out. But I am back to do this again with 7 new players, with awards, with prizes, with everything. Everything's brand new for here. We've even got one special award which I won't mention until later. But first, for those of you that haven't watched the Reggae Boyz and you're new to the channel and you want to know what the Hall of Fame is, it's what's on the screen now. An award granted for excellence and achievements throughout the career mode save. You know, from me, if I like you and if you performed well consistently, you are going to get into the Hall of Fame. That's how it works. It's as simple as that. Obviously, turn my hat backwards because this is the Ash Ketchum.
Choose you!
I'm going all out, the Ash Ketchum. Right, and also, there's only 7 members that can enter the Hall of Fame in every single career mode. Simply, that's because it wouldn't really be a Hall of Fame if I started putting in 20 members, you know what I mean? Like, come on man, that would be like the whole squad thereabouts. So we're going to pinpoint the best people for it, basically, and put them in there. Why 7 members? Okay, it's in the previous video. 7 Chaos Emeralds, 7 Dragon Balls, 7 Justice League members. I didn't mention before as well, 7 Wonders of the World, 7 Deadly Sins, the lucky number 7 in China. Now, 7 is the best number from 1 to 10 and my favourite number 2. That's why there can only be 7 Hall of Famers. If you remember, and if you watched the Reggae Boyz, I know I've said that a lot, but we had one honourable mention in there. I was thinking to always do just one honourable mention, but because this career mode had so many different players and it was all good, I have for this one, might seem cheating, I don't know, it depends what you think, I've had to put 4 honourable mentions in here. So let's get all the talking out of the way and let's get into the first 3 honourable mentions that just didn't quite make the cut. These are the honourable mentions. So we'll start from left to right. On the left, Aaron Leia Ezeka. He is, of course, Batsuai's younger brother. I think there's about 4 or 5 years between them. I'm not entirely sure. His style of play, he liked to play 1-2 with his strike partner. And he had a good strike partner with obviously Lucas and Nietzsche. He was extremely quick off the mark, that's for sure. Bro, he was a bombing past defenders for Dortmund, Schalke and stuff. You know, he was a really good player for me to sign. And he was a deadly finisher as well, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't buy him thinking, you know what, this guy is gonna really cook the mustard when it comes to finishing. But he did, and I've got to praise him for that. Now the reason for him not making the cut was simply, he was only at the club for 1 season, and I've always said to everybody on this channel, I do not like putting people in the Hall of Fame from 1 good season. I just don't think it's justified at all. That's the reason he didn't make the cut. Now we'll move onwards. Alexei Miranchuk, style of play. Sprays passes to any other forward. He liked to play short passes, liked to play long passes, you know, he pinpoint accuracy most of the time. That's what I loved about him. Likes to dribble as well. He was an excellent dribbler. I think his dribbling stats was about high 80s, 87, 88ish. And I'm pretty sure if I played another season that would have gone beyond the 90. Great dribbler. Now his reason for not making the cut was similar to Aaron Leia Ezeka, only played 1 full season. Now what I mean by that is we did get him at the start of, what was it, season 3? But remember, he got injured for, what was it, 7 months? 7 whole months. So he played like the last 2 months of season 3 and then he played a full season of season 4. And that's why he doesn't make the cut. If he didn't get injured, I personally think he would have got in there. Obviously his brother is Anton Miranchuk, they are twins. Now we go to the last person on this honourable mention section here, because there is 1 person after this. Joe Willock, style of play. Swiss Army knife. It honestly, I'm being serious when I put Swiss Army knife there. This guy could do it all. He could pass, he could dribble, he could intercept, he could shoot. He could do it all. And you might be wondering, well, if he could do it all, why is he not in the Hall of Fame? You'll see why later. Likes to play any pass as well, including in him can do it all. He was just, he had something special. Reason for not making the cut? Edged out by somebody more effective. That will make a lot of sense later. Right, on to the final honourable mention. And I've had to give him his own page. And you'll see the reason why. Here he is. The final honourable mention is Michael King. Obviously that big X across the page means that he's not officially in the Hall of Fame. He's just an honourable mention. But I have given him his own page simply because I wanted to put his stats up there for you to see. And I'll explain why in a bit. But obviously he plays centre back. His age was 30 at the end of the career mode. That's also when he hit his prime, because I think he went up at 30 as well, which is very, very rare to see in career mode. And like, now we'll get into his statistics. His defensive contributions per match. Oh yeah, if you're new to the channel, DCM, I've got a little chart on the bottom right usually. And DCM means defensive contributions per match, so that is interceptions and clearances, and then dividing that by the appearances that they've played in that competition. So his defensive his defensive contributions per match in the Bundesliga, the top division, was 0.69. That's not too bad at all. It's not too shabby. So I gave him a 7.5 personal rating in that. And his best competition was jointly European competition. That's Europa League and Champions League. He had defensive contributions 0.95. So nearly won every game basically, and I gave him a 9.25 out of there. It's very unfortunate that he couldn't make the Hall of Fame, but as I said before, there's only 7 members that can be in here, and we will get into the first member now, and he's also the member why Michael King couldn't get in. The first member is Felix Goetze. What can I say about Felix Goetze? I will start off by saying he outshone his brother from the moment he got here. Obviously he got here a bit earlier than his brother, because I got his brother the pre-contract, so he got in January, his brother got here in the summer. But honestly, he got here when he was what, 72 overall, and his brother Mario Goetze was 81 overall, and it felt like the overalls were reversed. Honestly, it was pretty clear who was the better brother out of the two. Right, so his peak for us, he was aged 25. That's when he stopped. Well, this is when I ended the career mode, because I reckon he probably could have got to at least at 88 if I carried on. He stopped at 82 when the career mode ended. His prime value was 24.5 million. That is a 23.6 million increase. I couldn't find out what the overalls were when players joined and what their values were. So if you see the increases maybe a little bit off, it's because I've stated their initial overall to be what it is in the game of FIFA. So I think he was like 67 initial overall, but he might have been like 71, 72 when we got him as a club. So his positions, he could also play CDM as a centre back. I've never officially played him there, but he could play there. And his strengths, good in the tackle, very good in the tackle, interceptions, and his height, and this is new, what I put on here, his presence. I've noticed like him just being there made the attackers very, very wary about what they was going to do. It was like, yo, should I sprint down here? Should I, you know what? And then they started to drag it back and play into the teammates to try and drift over to the other side, because they was very scared of him. Very, very scared of him. But at the same time, one of his weaknesses, his only weakness that I put on here, was his positioning. Because there was a lot of the times where there's an attacker, winger running down that wing, and he's too far off him. So because he's too far off him, they can, cut in across or do something, get it into the teammate, and that was one of his weaknesses, unfortunately. But when he was there, he was very, very good. Right, style of play, likes to lunge into challenges. That was very, very true. And can control the ball away from defenders. There was a lot of times that you might see in his highlight reel after this, because we're gonna have highlight reels. How can we not have highlight reels, man? He liked to control the ball away from the defenders, like, you know, get the ball off him and then use his back as strength and move the ball away from the attackers, sorry, not defenders. And now we'll get into his statistics. He is the reason why Michael Keane's not in here. Sorry, Michael Keane, but obviously he ended his career at Hamburg with us. He's German. Now his statistics. In the Bundesliga, the top division, 0.95 defensive duties, contributions. And I gave him a 9.5 personal rating from me, because that is something else. He was really, really good. In the second division, Bundesliga 2, he had more than a goal contribution every single game, with 11 interceptions and 7 clearances instead of 16 appearances. And you got to factor in the fact that he only joined in the second half of season 1. So that is something very special. I gave him a 10 out of 10 for that. How could I not? The Pockle, 6.5, because I couldn't give him a bad rating. He only played 2 games, so. Right. Europa League, amazing in Europa League. This was the only competition where Michael Keane had him beat in stats. He had a 0.9 defensive contributions with 12 interceptions, 1 clearance in 15 appearances. So I gave him a 9.25. That was very good. But the Champions League, by these statistics, he was one of the key reasons why we won the Champions League. And you can't deny that. 14 interceptions, 3 clearances in 13 appearances. That's 1.3 defensive contributions. That's a defensive contribution every 75 minutes. Every 75 minutes he was making a defensive contribution, or 70 even. 10 out of 10. Therefore, his personal rating from me was a 9.75. An amazing player. Put his brother to shame. And it's a shame that he couldn't improve even more, because he would have got into that Germany team, probably would have won the World Cup, you know, God knows what would have happened. But let's not dawdle anymore, and let's get straight in to his highlight reel.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
He's got the legs on Felix here. Felix gets back just in time and he blocks. Felix has been having an amazing game today.
Show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
As you just saw there, he's a great player, and one that will be remembered, because, you know, there's not a lot of centre backs and CDMs that are remembered, well, in my career mode anyway, and he's one that I will remember for a long time. Right, on to the second Hall of Famer. Who is that going to be? That is going to be Lucas Nemicha. Is there any surprise? Is there any surprise that he is the second Hall of Famer? Now, let me just say this right now. These words should more than guarantee him a Hall of Fame status. A better striker than Hakeem Rose. A better striker than Hakeem Rose. Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear what I'm saying? Look at his characteristics. Sprint speed, strength, finishing, positioning, weak foot. The only reason why acceleration is in the weaknesses column and not the strength is because he had poor acceleration starting off, but as the seasons went on, that got really, really good. And I think if we went into season 5, that probably would have been above an 88 at the way we was going. That's his only weakness, right? He joined in season 1. He was 24 at his peak. And I never played him there, but he could also play as a left and a right midfielder. There was no need to ever play him there with how effective he was as a striker. Initial value 1.5 million, prime value 67 million, right footed, but as it says, a weak foot was his preferred, was a weak foot. He had an amazing weak foot at 4-star skill moves. 68 initial overall, 85 prime overall. He was another German player for us. And one thing I will say is, remember at the start, I did complain about him a lot. And because I do think he deserved the complaining about to begin with. He was doing a lot of dumb stuff. But as the career mode went on, he got more and more effective. You could feel it, and it became deadly. It became the one person in the team you could rely on if you needed a clutch goal. So to be honest, I haven't put it up there, but clutchness should be in his strength as well. Style of play, hold up play, a great hold up player. If the ball was coming to him, he could, put his back to the defender and hold that ball up, kind of like Giroud does in real life. He was kind of like that. He also had 1-2 play with strike partnerships or cams or wingers. You could switch it into them. And the last thing I can get onto is his stats. These stats. Right, we'll start in the low competition first. The second division, he had 33 appearances, 20 goals, 13 assists. That's a goal contribution every single match, 10 out of 10. In the DFB Pokal, he played 4 games and he had no goals or no assists. That was definitely his weakest competition. I don't know what was going on with him there, so I gave him a 6 out of 10. Europa League, 10 appearances, 4 goals, 5 assists. That's nearly a goal contribution every match again, 9.75 from me. Champions League, 16 appearances, 13 goals, 4 assists. That's over a goal contribution per match, 10 out of 10. And the top division, Bundesliga, 58 appearances, 51 goals, 21 assists. A goal contribution every 1.24 games, 10 out of 10. This guy was sensational, honestly. Sensational. And there's nothing more I can say than, again, a better striker overall than Hakeem Rose. But what I will say about that is, that's because the game let him grow. Remember, the game wasn't letting Hakeem Rose grow, man. If I didn't train Hakeem Rose back in the day, man, he would have stuck on like a 73. So, all I can say now is, here's his highlight reel.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go.
Lucas, there we go, he's got a hat-trick. That is his first ever hat-trick in the top division.
Fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun.
Go on. Yes! Yes, man! We did it!
And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll
Now you see the amount of bangers in that highlight reel. That is something, man. This player, and those fake shots that he used to do where he just used to jump over the ball. This is a special, special player. Another one that I will not forget, that's for sure. Right, on to the third Hall of Famer, Odysseus Valadisimos. Apologies if I ruined that name. Obviously it's a Greek name, I don't know how to say that. But you know what? I am very, very proud that I can finally have a goalkeeper in the Hall of Fame. Because the way FIFA 20 was going, I didn't think a goalkeeper would even get close to a Hall of Fame status. But this guy smashed it. He absolutely smashed it, bro. 29 at his prime. Standing at 6'2". Now I'll remind you, that's not very tall for a goalkeeper. When you're 6'3" plus, that's when you're quite tall for a goalkeeper, so he was on the shorter side for them. Initial value 15.8 million, prime value 43 million. Preferred foot right-footed, initial overall 81, prime overall 86. Now what I'm going to say about him is, I spent a lot of money on him in season 2. I think it was around, I'm trying to remember now, it was around 26, 27 million. He was worth every penny, because I'll get into the stats later, but I'll tell you now, if it wasn't for him, I would not have won the Europa League in the second season. I would not have done it, but I'll get into that later. Strengths, saves at the near post. Now, that might seem as like a simple strength for a goalkeeper, but you've seen all the goalkeepers that I've had in this save. Well, in this save and in the previous one of the Reggae Boyz, they was all pretty poor at their near post, all of them. Makes himself big, so if your attacker's running at him, right, he comes out and he, you know, makes himself big, so he just scares the attacker and he covers more of the goal. That's what I loved about him. His third strength, his reaction time. Woo! This, I suppose this combines with number 1 saves at the near post, but this guy, he could get down quick, you know, he could get down quick, man. This guy. Weakness, height. So obviously, when someone's trying to chip the ball, or if there's a long cross coming in, You can see him struggling a little bit, and so his height was a little bit of a weakness. Style of play, cautious with crosses, suppose that ties into the height, and saves with feet, which was good sometimes and bad other times, really. Because there was one time, I can't remember what season it was in, saved with feet, and it kind of slowed his reaction time down by doing that, and the attacker got a shot away. But anyway, because I've never done this for a goalkeeper before, let me tell you what the new acronyms are for. CSPM means crucial saves per match. I couldn't put actual saves per match because that is a lot of information to get through from a goalkeeper, you know. And who cares about actual saves when it's simply a shot from 50 yards that all you need to do is go like that. You know, nobody cares about that, right? So his crucial saves per match in the Bundesliga was 41, and he had 48 appearances, so that's nearly a crucial save every single game. You know what I mean? And the games that we won 2-1, 1-0, stuff like that, obviously that crucial save meant we won the game. So, or even a 1-1 draw, it meant we didn't lose and stuff. So I've got to really rate him for that. He only played once in the Poco. I've put NA to Bundesliga because obviously I mentioned this earlier in season 2 or at the end of season 1, but even though he joined in season 2 and he played in the second division, I haven't added any of the statistics of any player in the second division of season 2, and that's simply because, if you remember, we simmed all of the league matches in season 2 except for 2, I think, that I thought we needed to play, and we only played the Europa League, so that's why it says NA for some of the players there. Europa League, 15 appearances, 9 clean sheets, 13 saves. He's the reason why we won that. When his highlight reel comes up after this, watch that game against Lille, because that game was the semi-finals of the Europa League and he was the reason why we won. He had so many saves. So I gave him a 9 personal rating from me. Champions League, he wasn't that effective in the Champions League, but I think I remember, what was it, a game against Real Madrid where he did make a very crucial save, and I think we only came out of that tie by the skin of our teeth. So I'm going to thank him for that, but I still gave him a 7 personal rating. As I say, a Greek goalkeeper, finished his career with us at Hamburg, and I can't thank him enough. There's nothing more to say about him, but he's an amazing goalkeeper, and here is his highlight reel. Back here we go. What a save from the goalkeeper again. Odysseus, man. Finesse shot, and he saves a finesse shot from outside the box. I've never had a goalkeeper that saved a finesse shot from outside the box on this keeper. Oh, what a save! Odysseus has been instrumental in this leg. Right, did you watch that game against Lille? He made a lot of saves, man. A lot of saves. But that is now our third Hall of Famer done and finished. Who is number 4? This, James Tavernier. Don't even know if I'm saying the last name right. But what a player. What a captain for us. Honestly, he was a captain. Obviously, I've had to put the Real Beaters badge next to our badge, and that's simply because he ended his career there when we sold him at the beginning of season 4. He didn't play any matches. He's English, of course. We got him in season 1. He was 29 at his prime. Positions, he could play right back and just right back, but I primarily played him as a right midfielder or right winger. He tracked back a lot though, so he was doing everything. He was attacking, defending, he was doing everything, which is the reason why I put goals, assists and interceptions on his statistic table. We'll get to that later. Wasn't very tall, he was 5'11". Well, I suppose that's a decent height. That's my height. What am I talking about? Initial overall 5.5. Initial overall 4.5 million. Prime value 7.5 million. Preferred foot, right foot. Initial overall 74. Prime overall 78. That's full growth. Strengths. Now, honestly, what could this guy not do? His top strength I've put as his penalties. He scored a lot of penalties for us. I'd say about half of his goals were penalties. And they always seem to be penalties that we definitely needed to score at the time. I think he only missed, I want to say, 1 or 2 penalties. So he did have a high stat in that, a high conversion rate in that. His second strength of clutchness, because again, as I says, we always needed a penalty when it came to, you know, especially in the Champions League and stuff, and the Europa League, when it came to do or die, and he scored them. His third strength was his sprint speed, because he was a very, very fast player. He could get to the ball on either end of the pitch, straight where you wanted him to. And his fourth was his ball control. He used to keep that ball very close to his feet. It was hard to take it off him. Weaknesses, none. I genuinely can't think of a weakness for him. I couldn't even put his age up there. That's not fair to put his age up there, because honestly, if he was younger, he would have got to a very high overall, I'm sure of it. Now his style of play, very quick off the mark, ties into that sprint speed, stays very close to his man when he's defending as well, which I love, and likes to play short passes. Now if we get into his stat table here, we'll start at the lower divisions. So in the Poco, he only played 3 appearances with 1 interception, so he only got a 6.25 personal rating from me. In the second division, second Bundesliga, he had 6 goals and 6 assists in 34 appearances. Now from right midfield, that's not too bad. That is not too shabby. And then when you look at his interceptions as well, 28 interceptions. As I says, he was at both ends of the pitch. He was doing it all. That is a goal contribution every 0.35 matches and a defensive contribution every 8.85 matches. Personal rating from me of 8.5. Now, in the top division, he wasn't as effective. He played 23 games, 2 assists, 1 goal, 12 interceptions. Unfortunately, that's only a goal every 0.13 games, and the defensive contribution just over every half, so every 2 games basically. And so I gave him a 7.25 rating out of that. Europa League was his second most impressive competition. Even though he only had 1 assist and 1 goal in 15 appearances, he had 12 interceptions. That's a defensive contribution every 0.8 games, and an 8.25 personal rating from me. Champions League, he had no interceptions, no assists, and he had 2 goals. Now, what I will say about the Champions League is I think he came off the bench for a lot of those. That's why his stats look a bit poor for that. And the 2 goals were, I think, both penalties, which were crucial. So a 6.0 rating from me. An overall personal rating from me of 8.0. And honestly, one of the best captains we've had across both saves that I've done so far. The only thing I can say now is, here is his highlight reel. I hope you enjoy. Bad Boy James. Go on, Bad Boy James. Still got a lot of stamina to go here. He's gonna take the shot himself. Bad Boy James. Oh, Bad Boy James. That's what I'm talking about. Is this a future Hall of Famer? What a highlight reel, hey? Of this guy. I had to put his interceptions, goals and assists in them because he was doing it all. But now, it is time for the 5th Hall of Famer. Who's at number 5? None other than our second captain, the Frenchman himself, Kurt Zouma. Now, I brought him as a marquee signing in season 1. I spent a lot of our budget on him. And I was thinking, was that a wise decision? Oh, it was a wise decision. Right, he was 28 at his prime, played centre back, 6'3", it's like a perfect height for a centre back. Initial value 18 million, prime value 61, that is a 43 million increase. Preferred foot, right foot. Initial overall 81, prime overall 88. Strengths, sprint speed. He was so quick for a defender. The only defender I had in the whole team that was quicker than him was his brother. And that's because I trained his sprint speed when I was doing something else. I think his brother had 90 plus sprint speed. Interceptions, killer interceptions. Heading, killer heading. And his strength, I think he actually had the trait, the strength. He's an ox at the back, an absolute ox. One weakness he had was his positioning. Now, because he had poor positioning, he had to lunge in a lot. So he was prone to making a couple of mistakes when he was lunging in. And I think I remember one where he lunged in, gave away a penalty, and we went from being 2-0 up to losing the game 3-2. That was the start of it, basically. But other than that, honestly, these are some amazing statistics. But first, we'll get into his style of play. As I said before, likes to show that physical strength. You know, put his arm out, board after the attacker, take the ball off them, guard it away from them. Aerial duels. It was hard. It was extremely hard to beat this guy in the air. Extremely hard. Likes to lunge in. Oh, how many times did I just say that his position was weak, so he had to lunge in? Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. It's just his style of play. Now, we'll start from the low leagues again into the high leagues. Second Bundesliga, 31 appearances, 14 clean sheets, 23 interceptions, 13 clearances. That is a goal contribution, 1.25 every match. But that is amazing. I don't think I've ever had a goal just a goal contribution. I don't think I've ever had a defensive contribution so high before. Guaranteed it was in the second division, but it doesn't exactly get worse. 10 out of 10 rating from me. In the pocket, he only played 3 games. He had no interceptions or clearances and 1 clean sheet. So Why did I give him a 0? That might have been a typo. You know I've got typos. I had typos in the last Hall of Fame. That should have been like a 5 or a 6. Take that as you will. Europa League, 15 appearances, 9 clean sheets, 10 interceptions, 8 clearances. That is the same defensive contribution as second division, 10 out of 10 again. Champions League, he drops off a little bit. I want to say, look, well, actually, he doesn't drop off a little bit, he drops off a lot here. It's very odd. 14 appearances, 8 clean sheets, 4 interceptions, 4 clearances. That is now defensive contribution, 0.6 matches, every 0.6 match. That's 7.5 from me. Now, in the top division, he's probably a reason why we got the positions that we got. I think we got, 9th and 6th respectively in season 3 and season 4. 58 appearances in the Bundesliga, 14 clean sheets, 37 interceptions, 29 clearances. That's a defensive contribution every 1.15 matches. 9.75 personal rating from me. An amazing defender. I'd probably even say he was a better defender overall than Felix Gerzer, and you know how much I like Felix Gerzer. And that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. Honestly. So his overall personal rating from me was a 9.5. Let's have a look at his highlight reel. There's even a goal in there for you that he scored.
No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast.
Zuma's holding it down though, you know.
Shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't shining like it's neon.
Good interception by Zuma, crucial one as well actually.
Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's
That's not what I expected from you. And what a block there. That was a really good block from Zuma.
I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's enough, then I'll just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
Oh, what a save off the line from Zuma.
I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass.
Did you spot the goal? It was after that free kick where it rebounded, and it wasn't a difficult goal, but a goal for a centre back is still a goal. So, right, it's now time for you to see the penultimate, the 6th Hall of Famer. That is Junior Bakuno. What a player. He is the reason why Willock did not make the Hall of Fame. Now, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but he is from a small island, Curacao. And I don't think I've ever seen any other FIFA player from there other than him and his brother. And he was very, very unique. He could play centre mid, CDM and left mid, although he had low sprint speed, so him on the left was kind of a bit of a problem. He's 5'10", and his initial value was 3.4 million, prime value 47.5 million, quite an increase there. Initial overall 71, prime overall 85. He probably would have got to a 90 plus if we carried on. Strengths, a Swiss Army knife. Passing, positioning, interceptions, finishing, aggression. He was so aggressive on that ball. Just get off me, running into players. Man, move, you know what I mean? Weakness, tackle. Wasn't good in the tackle, but it was very, very rare that I ever had to use tackle with him. Style of play, likes to play long passes, likes to play short passes, stays close to his man. He had good positioning, of course, and he was a key pass playmaker. And that's the first time I've put that there in the Hall of Fame. What I mean by that is, if you have a quick look at his stats here, his stat table with his assists, he didn't have many assists. That's simply because he was always the key pass playmaker. He used to make a very key pass, make somebody go through on goal, and then they used to make the assist to make a sweat or, you know, a good goal from someone else. And I don't think that should have gone unnoticed with his play. Obviously, he finished his career here with us at Hamburg. Now, if you go into his stats, in the Poco, he only played 2 games, but he had 1 goal. So that's a goal contribution every 2 games, basically. And 7.5 rating. That's probably the best rating in the Poco that I've given anybody on the Hall of Fame. Nobody really performed in the Poco, but that's because we won it in season 1, and I've, you know, been focused on it since then. In the Europa League, he had 2 assists, 5 interceptions in 15 appearances. That's a 7.75 personal rating from me. In the Champions League, he had 1 goal and 6 interceptions in 13 appearances. That's pretty dire ratio for the goal contributions, but I still gave him a 7.75 rating because he had a better defensive contribution per match. In Bundesliga 2, 3 goals, 1 assist, 2 interceptions. That was a bit of everything in 16 appearances, 7.5 rating from me. In the top division, this is where he's shone, especially in interceptions. 5 goals, 3 assists, 29 interceptions in 48 appearances. That is it's only a goal contribution every 0.16 games, but it is a defensive contribution in every 0.6 games. 8.25 personal rating from me. As it says, he could do everything, a Swiss Army knife, and he's the reason why Joe Willock didn't get in. So, without further ado, I will now show you his highlight reel that's got everything in, interceptions, assists, and a bit of goals as well. Enjoy.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love.
Bakuna's such a defender. The way the man just pushed James off the ball like it was nothing, man.
but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna.
Ooh, Bakuna intercept from Ronaldo.
Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
I hope you enjoyed that highlight reel, because there's only one more to come. This is the last Hall of Famer, and his highlight reel is quite short, and I'll explain why before I run it. I was contemplating putting him in or not, but I do think he deserved it. He was good for our team, so here is number 7. Unite the 7. It is Anton Miranchuk. He got in there over his brother Alexei, and that's because obviously he didn't get injured. So he played a lot more games. But he's from Russia, of course, the twin of Alexei, joined in season 3, could play as cam and right mid, and did play as cam in season 3 and pushed to right mid on season 4, but that didn't even make him less effective. 6 foot tall, initial value 11.3 million, prime value 33 million. He was somebody I got on the pre-contract as well, so I didn't even have to pay any money for him. Initial overall 77, that's overall at the start of the game. Prime overall 84. Strengths, dribbling, composure, vision, versatility, and free kicks. He was a perfect cam, more or less. Weakness, aerial duels, don't really need that for cam, but that was one of his weaknesses. Style of play, likes to play short passes, likes to play 1-2s with strikers, and likes to play long passes. Could switch it up, could do anything he wanted really. Now obviously you got a bunch of not availables here, because he didn't play in the second division, didn't play in the Poco, and he didn't play in the Europa League either. But if we get to the Champions League, he had 2 goals and 3 assists in 12 appearances. That's a goal contribution every 0.41 games. A personal rating of 7.5 from me. And in the top division, he played 57 times, 14 goals, 18 assists. That's a goal contribution every 2 games, just over every 2 games. Just under, sorry, every 2 games. 7.75 rating from me. Honestly, a really, really good cam. And it's a shame his highlight reel can't be any longer. But obviously he only had 2 seasons here, so his highlight reel will be a lot shorter than the rest. So let's get into this and see, and you can see all the good stuff.
Pull my heart out of my chest, train my mind so I forget. Sink your teeth into my bones, dig me out, then fill the hole. Tear me apart and watch it burn. Tear me apart and watch it burn. All that's left is a window to my soul. Come and get it.
that is the Hall of Fame finished. 7 key players here: Felix Gertzer, Lucas Nemicha, Odysseus, Junior Vicuna, Anton Miranchuk, Kurt Zuma, and James, Bad Boy James. I've got to give thanks to all of them. Even the honourable mentions, I've got to give thanks to them. I've got to give thanks for you watching. But as you know, if you've seen the Reggae Boyz Hall of Fame, this is not the end. We now have my Brother's Keeper award ceremony. Oh, the award ceremony, where all of the awards are just, you know, given out to the best players. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how young you are. You're just competing with each other even more than the Hall of Fame, arguably. And I've even made the presentation look a bit better than last time. I wasn't really happy with how I designed the last one, so I've had Kafeli Palmer, his website is linked in my bio, I think. He's come through with more designs, and this is going to be a little bit nicer for you to see. So the first award, if you can remember from last time, is Grandma Saturday Super Award, the most consistent player. Anton Miranchuk clinches 3rd place. What can I say about Anton Miranchuk? But throughout season 3 and season 4, when I needed an assist, he was there most of the time. And if he wasn't there, then his brother was there, Alexi. You know what I mean? He chipped in some of the goals, but he was an all-round great player. But he only took 3rd place. In 2nd place was Odysseus. A goalkeeper is making these awards in the Hall of Fame. I can't believe it. I genuinely can't believe it. But as I said to you earlier in the Hall of Fame big part, he was the reason why we won the Europa League. And I could rely on him if a shot was coming in, you know, and it was a difficult one. He's saying from finesses outside the box. That's how lethal it was. But you probably guess who the most consistent player is, who's going to clinch that #1 spot. Lucas Nemicha. I've given him the 7 KS Emeralds as a prize because he just amazing. You saw his goal ratio, you saw his assists, his goal contributions. Honestly, my girlfriend gets pregnant, can rely on him to deliver the baby. That's how reliable he is. That's how reliable. There's no doctors around. Get Lucas Nemicha, get him in. He's that good. But this is only 1 award. And even though he gets the crown in this one, who's to say he'll get the crown in the next one, which is the Fried Dumplings Special Award, my favourite player. Number 3, Aaron Leazika. Honestly, even though he couldn't go into the Hall of Fame because of only having 1 season, he goes into this category because he was one of my favourite players from that 1 season. I didn't expect I could rely on him that much, but I could. That's why he's number 3. Sprint speed, off the charts. Finishing, off the charts. Great 1-2 with him and Lucas. Number 2, Lucas Nemicha. Just above his strike partner here, because again, I could rely on him for everything, as I've just said, without a doubt. But the #1 place, the first place gets is Junior Vicuna. He gets Sakura's magical stick from Card Captors, one of my OGs, man. Probably the first ever anime I ever watched. Can't remember if it was that or Dragon Ball, it was around the same time. But yeah, Junior Vicuna. He could do everything. And he was going to get to a 90+ if I carried on, but I couldn't carry on for my own sanity. But he was a great player. Key passes, interceptions, aggression. He had everything you ever wanted in a midfielder. Right, now before we get into the final award, I have personally done a special award here. This is the special award, my Brotherhood award, the best pair of brothers in the series. Obviously, this career mode was solely about brothers, so I thought, why not do a special award for them? In the 3rd position, Diego and Yimi Chara get it. Diego and Yimi Chara, we got them in season 1, and they linked up a couple of times. They gave each other assists and goals a couple of times, and they were great. The only problem is both of them was getting on a bit, so there was going to be dropping in overall. I had to let them go at the start of season 2. In 2nd position, the twins, Anton and Alexei Miranchuk. Amazing twins. And if it wasn't For Alexi, missing season 3 through injury, God knows which one of them would have made the Hall of Fame, because both of them was great at doing pretty much everything. Now, in the first position, you've probably already guessed it, but Felix and Lucas Nemicha. Now, obviously, they'll probably get into this position because more so for Lucas, but Felix was very, very good in season 1. The only reason why he didn't feature a lot from season 2 onwards to the end is because we had cams and centre mids higher overall than him, and he had stamina issues. But he was a very good player to play with. I mean, you enjoyed playing with him when he was on the pitch. Obviously, their prize of giving them Ebony and Ivory from Devil May Cry, Dante's Guns, because the killers, both of them are killers out here. And bro, honestly, in season 1, I actually preferred Lucas over Felix over Lucas. Right, but we'll now get on to the most prestigious award of them all, the Bun and Cheese Award, the best partnership of this series. You probably already guessed who's number 1 is, but let's get through with it anyway. In the 3rd place is Michael Keane and Kurt Zuma. What can I say about these two other than they knew how to link up? Kurt Zuma was on the right side of centre back and Michael Keane was in the centre primarily. I did it like that because Michael Keane had less sprint speed, but they rarely ever got in each other's way, which I've had before with centre backs and stuff. And you know, Kurt Zuma was good with sprint speed. Michael Keane was a bit slower, but he was better with positioning himself against the defender. They linked up nicely. Kurt Zuma was better in the air, but not by much. It was a good partnership at the back throughout the whole save. Well, I think I got Keane in the 2nd season, but you know what I mean. In the 2nd position, we've got Junior Bakuno and Joe Willock. Now, this partnership saw its effect, weirdly enough, when they wasn't playing together. Because when I took Willock out the team for Eggenstein in that last season, you saw the midfield there was a bit slightly weaker. Because even though Bakuna was still doing his thing, this Eggenstein guy was trash, and I was like, yo, look at this guy. And then look at it, Willock went up in the overall even though he was being benched, and I put Willock back in at the end of the season, and they renewed their friendship and their partnership, and they were spraying passes to the forwards, and Willock was the better defender, so he was picking up the mops that Bakuna was maybe leaving, but Bakuna had more aggression, so he was getting in on the attackers as well, and it was a great partnership. Now, if you haven't guessed who number 1 is, have you even been watching this series? Really? Number one. What can I say about these two? Aaron Lazika and Lucas Nemicha. They played together for 1 season and they've already got a highlight reel that's more than Anton Miranchuk's highlight reel in the Hall of Fame. I've given them my favourite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Magician, Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is obviously used by Yusei Fudo in the 3rd series, 5Ds. Dark Magician is used by Yu-Gi-Oh! Yugi himself. So, but these two were amazing. They had that mental link. Now, I don't think it was as good as the strike partnership as Rose and Dally. That was something else, you know what I'm saying? But these two were very, very good. And I can't say anything else, but here are their highlight reel.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
something. Let me tell you, I found a perfect strike partnership with him and Leia Zika now. What a highlight reel, hey. These two knew what each other was doing, had that mental link, and you've seen it just. Right, that is officially it for FIFA content. FIFA 20 content for me. I've enjoyed it. Obviously, these two series were my first two series on YouTube ever, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But we need to move on. As I said, we've got plenty more games to get through, and I'm recording this a whole week after you've seen the last episode, and I will now obviously take off the suit and all the equipment, and I will probably start to be playing different games now. But I want to thank you all for all your support. There's some real ones here watching every video, and honestly it means a lot. But you better take care of yourselves in these times. Well, I say these times, God knows what it's like this is going up in September, I want to say. No, is it September? Yes, it's either August or September this will go up, can't remember. But I'm here at the beginning of May now, and it is tough times out here, so hopefully it is better when you are seeing this video. So all I can say is, till next time.